to them from the committee. Joining me now, Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger of Illinois. He is a member of the January 6th Select Committee. Congressman, thanks for taking the time this morning.
You bet. Yep.
So the key here really is getting to folks who were particularly close to the president on that day, among them Mark Meadows, Steve Bannon. If they refuse to cooperate with these subpoenas, are you confident the committee has the ability to compel them?
Oh, Jim, that coup attempt insurrection, that was a whole 9 months ago. We should just move on. No, look, we are going to do everything in our power to get them to testify. I mean, there's civil, there's criminal referrals that can happen if they refuse. You know, refusing a subpoena from Congress is a crime. And I want to be clear about something. I mean, we have a right to get to the bottom of this. We aren't out to try to hang this around anybody's neck. Mm-hmm. We want answers. Now, the problem is when you start seeing people resist and people obfuscate, you have to look at that and go, why are they doing that if they have nothing to hide? We have people coming in and talking to us voluntarily. There's a lot of information we already have and know. We're going to get to the bottom of it. We want to do it quickly, efficiently, and most importantly, thoroughly. Because even regardless of whether, me or our generation gets the truth, we will. Our kids' generations deserve to read an accurate accounting in the history books.
I'm guessing that your tongue-in-cheek reference at the start of your answer was referring to Mike Pence's comments on Fox News last night, blaming the media for focusing on one day in January, blah, blah, blah. I just wonder, though, that is not an outlier position in the current Republican Party. In your view, has revisionism on January 6th, these short 9 months later, taken over the GOP?
Yeah, it happened, and it didn't even happen 9 months later. A couple weeks later, Kevin McCarthy went and kissed the ring at Mar-a-Lago and not literally, I guess, figuratively, took the paddles from the ambulance, put them on Donald Trump, and resurrected him politically with that one single visit. And then all of a sudden it became, maybe it was Antifa. I mean, that night Matt Gaetz went out and said, we know it's Antifa. Like, what? And so that all started, and now when you have the vice president, and here's the thing that I think is so disappointing to traditional Republicans like me, is Mike Pence. I disagree with, that he was complacent during 4 years of Trump, but he had a actually pretty heroic moment. And if you read the coup memo that outlined a coup, I mean, that's literally what it did, and that's what Donald Trump was pushing. Yeah. Mike Pence resisted that. He could have gone with it, created a constitutional crisis. He's not going to win back the Trump people. He's not going to convince us he was ever anti-Trump. He could have stood up and said, I was with the president until I wasn't. Now I'm not. And I don't understand this pivot.
On Pence, though, we have learned more since January 6th, including that he at least made a call to former Vice President Dan Quayle to seek his counsel on perhaps whether he had some power to overturn in that crucial moment. I wonder, is the narrative of Mike Pence the hero that day? Are we learning that there's less to it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. So I don't know if he had called Dan Quayle to see, can I do this, or how do I resist doing this? I've read the account in the book. The reality is he did his constitutional duty, so I don't think that's heroic. I think having stood in the pressure of Donald Trump, somewhat heroic in these days, unfortunately. But I think the big thing for him to give him credit for on that day is the recognition that he could have done something different and thrown us into a complete constitutional crisis. Now, what I don't understand is his life was in danger. The number 3 in line for the presidency was in danger, and 4, all within striking distance of a mob that, killed a police officer, beat one to within an inch of his life. So would do it to a politician. And now all of a sudden he's revising that day and saying he and Trump are buddies again. I don't get this toxic hold that Trump has over people. He never had it over me. Maybe I just missed out, but I'm glad I did.
Washington Post reports that Trump considered announcing his candidacy for 2024 after the Afghan withdrawal. He was convinced not to at that point, but there are some close to him who believe he is close to doing just that. And I wonder, by the way, it's possible he could win. It's possible. Do you believe the U.S. democratic system as we know it would survive? Not just the run, but a second Trump presidency.
I think our system's broken, and I'm not, sitting here to say that democracy's bad, the republic is bad. I think what's failed us is the two-party system that has kowtowed to the extremes. We have our Freedom Club in our party. Now you have, no offense, the Progressive Caucus in the left that is looking a gift horse in the mouth with the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and doing what I saw the Freedom Club do 5 years ago, by the way. And the vast majority of Americans in the middle aren't on Twitter yelling. They're saying, I feel so disaffected right now. And we're plugged into this matrix that says, if you don't like Joe Biden's presidency, and I don't like his policies, by the way, your alternative is it must be Donald Trump. Oh, hell no. There's a vast array of options outside of those two, particularly outside of Donald Trump. But we're plugged into this belief that you only have one option. We got to break that belief and change things. Donald Trump very well may run again in 2024. I would have thought 6 months ago he wouldn't, but I think he sees Joe Biden stumbling, thinks he can win, and he may win.
Just briefly, because you mentioned the bipartisan infrastructure plan, you publicly supported that. Given last week's failure to get it through, infighting in the Democratic Party, do you still support the bipartisan infrastructure plan? Will you vote for it?
Yeah, I'll vote for it. Where it gets dangerous is if they somehow tie the two together with this $3.5 trillion that, Mr. Clyburn was on here an hour early, goes, I don't even care how much it is, kind of to paraphrase. I'm like, that's a problem. And so I intend to vote for it. We need bipartisan infrastructure in this country. Let's take the win. That's how we used to legislate. We take the win, and then the controversial stuff, you fight hard to get through.
We'll see. We'll see if they meet this next deadline. Congressman Adam Kinzinger, thanks so much for joining us.
Anytime.